Old friends are like old memories. They always remind you of your past, and we are reminding ourselves of the past episodes from this week of Good Company for the best of Good Company with me, Hollie Taylor. I'm Hollie Taylor. We're talking about the things that we do to stay productive. So I'm curious, 905-338-1250, text or call. What are some of those things that you do to help with your productivity? Producer Mike, gonna put you on the spot again. You knew it. You knew it was coming.
Always had that feeling.
Yeah. What do you do to stay productive, or what have you seen others do to stay productive?
I like your suggestion of making lists.
Okay.
It's always helpful. Just you start working on something, you forget what's coming up next.
Yeah.
You had this master plan when you started vacuuming, and now you're like, wait, what was I going to do after that?
Exactly.
Was it that pile of dishes that's been sitting there for a while, or was it the mop that's waiting after the vacuum?
Yeah. Which one should I pick?
Yeah, having a list and putting that list in order, too, of what you're going to do and in what order.
Yeah,
I find that really helpful.
And you are always walking around with the, what is it, like the iPad
That's
or
right.
something?
I make lists on a daily basis on my iPad for what to do at work, and it's in the same deal. It's in what order I should do them in, and sort of in varying importance as well.
Yeah. You make lists for your lists.
I just realized, I make a lot of lists, don't I?
You do. You do. But it's good. It's encouraging. It's inspiring.
Oh, thank you. And it keeps me on track.
Yeah. And you get the work done. You do good work.
Thank you.
Yeah. Text message here at 905-338-1250 from Heather. She says, having accountability keeps me productive, especially in a team or work environment. Yes, accountability is definitely an important thing to have if you find yourself slipping on the productivity level. Also, they could be the people that say, hey, you're not as productive as you used to be. Are you okay? Because it could be a sign that things aren't. I think at some point in our life, we all discover some unlikely friendships. I'm Hollie Taylor for Good Company, and this seems like a very unlikely friendship. It's a bit of a fishy story, if you ask me. That's right. It's a man who became friends with a fish. Yeah, every summer, this man goes down to his favorite lake, Metaskoin. His name is Rex. And there, once upon a time, while he was scuba diving, found a wild fish. And somehow they bonded. I don't know how this happened, but they did. He says he does a gulp grunt sound in his throat, and that's the cue for the fish to know, oh, Rex is in town or in my pond, and the fish will find him. And then they hang out while he's scuba diving. Isn't that wild? So this is just a little something that he had noticed, that there's this one fish that he just, I don't know, was gravitating towards him. And there you go. Now, whenever he is in that particular lake, he does that grunting sound, which sounds amazing. It's like a bird call, except for it's a fish call. And the reason why he can recognize the fish is because of a scar in his face. Most likely, this fish was caught and then released. And now they just hang out whenever he visits a lake in Wisconsin. So I love it. Can you imagine? You're just like, oh, I'm going to go take a look at this lake and try to find my fish friend, which, by the way, he named Elvis. Hollie Taylor here. We're talking about that morning routine, mine being chaotic. Little Ion, who's 6, he's got his morning routine of his tea and his chapter books, which I love. It's so adorable. Some of the messages on the social media accounts are saying like, oh, looks like he's got a 401k. Yeah, looks like a smart kid there. Producer Mike, do you have any kind of morning routine?
Yeah, I get up, I make the coffee, 1 cup of coffee, and then I watch some YouTube. There's a series of videos that go out every morning at 8 a.m. So I watch the 1 20-minute video every day, every morning.
It's your thing.
And sip the coffee, get ready for work, just sort of amp yourself up for the day ahead of you, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
And then get to work.
Yeah, and then you get to deal with me.
Yeah, you make it sound like a chore. It's not that bad, Hollie.
He needs his coffee and his YouTube time to hang out with me. Oh, I love it. Heather texted in at 905-338-1250. Her morning sounds similar to yours, Producer Mike. She wakes up, has her coffee. Substitute the YouTube thing that you're watching. She puts in some praise and worship music. And she says for her, that gets her in the right frame of mind to tackle the day. I love it. There's just something about praise and worship music. You know, sometimes it's encouraging, sometimes it's calming, and sometimes it's like your war music soundtrack. Like you're going out there, you're going to get it done. And you got God on your side. So Heather, thank you so much for your message today. Thank you so much for joining me here today on Good Company, whether it be through our website and streaming live at joyradio.ca, through the My Joy Radio app for your smartphone, or maybe just you're listening to the radio. Thank you. That would be on the AM dial, 1250 the frequency. All right, so this story put a huge smile on my face because never in a million years did I ever think that there would be a mall that was growing produce on their roof. But this is happening in Edmonton at Kingsway Mall. Love this idea. And I think about our growing season here. Can we do that here? So they're growing all kinds of things, your tomatoes, your strawberries, your potatoes, and they're donating all the food to their food bank. They say that the shopping center garden will produce about 300 pounds. They got the carrots as well, the fresh herbs. And so they're doing this for the summer months. And then, of course, it's going to help families who have food insecurities in their community. I mean, think of all the malls we have here. Imagine how many people we could feed by having gardens on top of malls. Kind of a fun idea. I'm curious to see how well it's going to go for their inaugural year. Thank you so much for hanging out with me here today on Good Company. And whether it be through the radio, through a smart speaker, the My Joy Radio app, or even streaming at joyradio.ca, it's a pleasure to be able to usher in the weekend with you. Now, this is, I would say, a super encouraging story because I even catch myself now just saying little things to myself like, I think I might be too old to do something like that, or, oh, my knees just aren't what they used to be. Well, a 90-year-old man has done something that I think is pretty incredible. His name is Michael Lee, and he just was awarded his 9th degree in judo. How wild is that? There's only 6 individuals in the UK specifically that have this level of their judo experience, and he's 90. So that just makes me feel like, again, it is never too late to start something that you're passionate about or that gives you joy, and in this case also gives him great health and the ability to, well, protect himself and those around him. So if you aren't 90 yet and you don't have any judo belt levels, why not start today? Unless you don't really like judo, but maybe try something else.